Hey Toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we're once again looking at the Marvel Legends series by Hasbro. Before you, we've got the Scarlet Spider figure released in 2012 and part of the Rocket Raccoon Build-A-Figure series. Now if you're not familiar with the Scarlet Spider or what he's about, he was a character who first appeared in comics as Kaine in Web of Spider-Man number 119 from 1994, and he was a character engineered by the comic book villain The Jackal during the Clone Saga. Now, in the early days, Kaine actually was a villain for Spider-Man, but more recently he's been a hero and adopted the Scarlet Spider mantle, and he first wore the Scarlet Spider costume in Marvel .1 number 1 from 2011. Since then, he's had his own solo series and appeared as part of the New Warriors, but more recently he's been part of the Spider-Verse storyline, which is why I'm really excited to get my hands on this figure. I've enjoyed that storyline so far. Actually, it's just wrapping up right now, and I thought he played a great role in the book, so you might even know this guy better as the Other, depending on when you've actually jumped into the Spider-Man universe. Let's go ahead and get things started, guys, by taking a look at that packaging. As you come down the front of this box, you do have the Marvel logo in the upper right, as well as some information detailing the wave that this figure's part of. You have an image of Scarlet Spider in the upper left, drawn by Terry Dodson. You then have a blister bubble packaging that does house this figure inside. And then towards the bottom, you have the logo for Marvel Legends. Flipping this package around now, as you come down the back of this box, you do have the Marvel and Rocket Raccoon information repeated in the upper left. You've got an amazing piece of artwork here in the center from Terry Dodson featuring Scarlet Spider. You've got a bio for the figure off to the right. Go ahead and pause now to read that. And then towards the bottom, you do have a complete lineup of all the figures available in this wave, as well as an image of the Build-A-Figure assembled on the left, Rocket Raccoon. Alright guys, well that's the packaging. Let's say we get this Scarlet Spider figure out of the box and see what he's all about. Alright, here we have Scarlet Spider out of the box, and if you guys think this figure looks a little familiar, well it's probably because you recognize that body mold. This is not the first time we've seen this sort of body shape with a Marvel Legends figure. Originally, this body mold was used for the Marvel Legends Bullseye figure you see off here to the right. But that wasn't the last time that Toy Biz or Hasbro stopped using that body mold. We saw it again with Marvel Legends Havoc, and Banshee, and Deadpool, and Tarantula, and Quicksilver, and Daken, and Yellow Jacket, and Constrictor, and X-Force Deadpool, and Ultimate Spider-Man. In fact, this body mold was used over and over again until we got the Marvel Legends Bucky cap you see here to the right, and now a lot of the Marvel Legends that come out tend to have that body mold instead. Let's go ahead and get these guys cleared out of the way. Aside from the familiar body mold, this Scarlet Spider figure actually has some pretty nice sculpt work on him too. As you take a look at the head closer, you're going to see that there's actually some sculpted eyes here on the Spider-Man mask, and I really like how they came out, and the paint applications around those eyes are very, very clean. I also really like the profile of the Spider-Man head. Very nice, sort of dynamic, aggressive looking Spider-Man head sculpt. I'd like to see this used again. I know it was used on the Future Foundation Spidey and the Big Time Spider-Man. I think they've stopped using it, but I wouldn't mind if Hasbro went back to using it for the appropriate figure that might come out. Also, he's got a sculpted web whipping hand here on the side, and I like the fingers have been extended, you know, nice and straight there, and it's just a really great sort of whipping hand motion. It's not interchangeable like we've seen with some other Spider-Man figures, but for what it is, it looks really great. Otherwise, there's not really any new sculpting detail on this figure, but he's got some very clean paint applications for the black on the shoulders, and for the spider emblem on the front, and on the back we have this nice red spider emblem. And as you come down the figure, we can see the black painted fingers on both hands, and then coming down further, it's just red all the way down. This version of the Scarlet Spider costume is a bit basic in design, but I think Hasbro got it right everywhere it counts. Scarlet Spidey doesn't have any accessories, so let's move on to articulation. We can see that he does have a joint at the head that'll allow his head to move back that far and down that far. It will rotate all the way around. He's got a shoulder joint that'll rotate all the way around, and then he has sort of a butterfly joint so his arm can bend forward in that much and back that much. He's got a bicep swivel that rotates all the way around, as well as having a double jointed elbow that closes in nicely. He's got a rotation at the wrist, and then he does have a hinge that allows his hand to move back that far and down that far. He has no finger articulation. That articulation is copied here on the other side. He's got a joint that allows his body to move forward that far and back that far at the chest. He's got a full rotation at the waist. He's got a ball jointed hip that does rotate and move forward that far and back, about that far. It's got one of those joints that has the balls right here, so you have to kind of twist the ball joint to really get his leg to move forward. His leg will bend out from the body that far. It will also rotate all the way around at the hip joint. He's got a double jointed knee that bends down and in that far. And then he's got a foot that'll move forward that far and back that far, and he's got that Hasbro ankle pivot, which actually a lot of these body molds didn't have, so I'm really glad to see that they added that sort of swivel pivot, or whatever you want to call it, the Hasbro pivot, to the ankle on this figure. That was a nice inclusion. Height-wise, we can see that this Scarlet Spider figure does stand just a bit under 6.5 inches tall. For some size comparison, here we have Scarlet Spider-Man compared to the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Superior Spider-Man figure, and compared to the Spider-Man Origins Symbiote Spidey figure. and compared to the Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure. And one more time, here he is compared to the Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales figure. And finally, here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. X-23, Joseph, you. Why do the popular ones always get cloned? You know, your parents could breathe. Mine were test tubes. Cry me a river. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider figure released by Hasbro in 2012. Overall, I really like this Spider-Man figure. I think that the paint applications were done very cleanly and nicely, and he's got a surprising amount of articulation for a Spider-Man figure considering he's got such a reused body mold. And if you're not a huge Spider-Man fan or haven't been reading the Spider-Verse storyline, this figure might be a bit of a pass for you. He's not really an essential member of the Marvel Universe. He only comes and goes from time to time, but if you are out there to get every figure, or if you just want to get every Spider-Man figure, I definitely encourage you guys to pick this one up. You won't be disappointed. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Hey, toy fans, are you looking for a new TV show where you can catch up on all your geek, comic book, television, and movie news? Well, give Project Geek Week a try. I just started it with some of my friends, and we're having a blast doing it, and would love for you to check us out. Thanks for watching.